Labour threatens indefinite strike, gives 1-week ultimatum over fuel price hike. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu approved 50 billion naira to assist 5 Northwest states to develop infrastructure. Bauchi states to host Northeast 2024 trade fair. And in business news, Nigerian importers to start clearing goods from Cotonou ports. And in international scene, ECOWAS deploys 15 long-term election observers in Liberia. And in sports news, Nigerian Football Federation to hand Waldrum New Falcons 1-year deal. Hello and thanks for joining us. That was the headline for Standard Voice Television News. I am Rahma Ibrahim Bisara with the news info. Barely 1 week after leading a 2-day nationwide warning strike, the organized labor on Tuesday threatened to begin an indefinite strike should the federal government fail to meet its demand at the end of a 21-day ultimatum, which will expire in approximately 1 week's time. The workers' union said the proposed strike was necessary following the failure of the federal government to provide palliatives to the Nigerian hardships as a result of the fuel subsidy removal. The Nigeria Labour Congress said the industrial action, which may commence any day from next week, would lead to an indefinite shutdown of commercial and economic activities across the country. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved 50 billion naira to assist 5 states engulfed by the menace of banditry in the Northwest. This was disclosed by the Vice President Kashim Shettima during a condolence visit on the Emir of Argungu Alhaji Samaila Muhammad Mira in his palace over the deaths of prominent Islamic scholar Sheikh Abubakar Giro, who passed away on Wednesday. The Vice President assured that the President had a very good intention to assist the people of northern Nigeria, especially the Northwest, where armed banditry and kidnapping persisted. He listed the benefiting states include Kebbi, Sokoto, Zamfara, Katsina, and Kaduna, added that because of politics, Niger and Benue states were also coopted. He, however, said that Kano and Jigawa states were not directly affected as the 5 aforementioned 5 states in terms of insecurity. He assured that 1,000 houses will be constructed across the 5 states and very soon work will commence, adding that the work will either start from Sokoto or Kebbi. Northeast Governors Forum has agreed to resuscitate the region trade fair to be held in Bauchi State in January 2024 in an effort to promote sub-regional commerce among member states. This was contained in a 10-point communique issued at the end of the 8th meeting of the Northeast Governors Forum held at Government House Maiduguri, Borno State. The communique, read by Governor Ahmadu Umar Fintiri, the forum expressed delight at the growing strength of the cooperation, collaboration, and cordial relationship between the governors of the 6 states of the region. The forum reiterated its commitment to foster a common ground and pursue collective cause for the benefits of the region, and appreciated the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Kashim Shettima, for gracing the opening ceremony of the 8th meeting of the NADF and the government and people of Borno State for hosting the event. Borno State Governor Babagana Umar Zulum has launched a new fleet of 70 luxurious buses to ease the movement of civil servants to their various places of work and other members of the public. Unveiling the metro buses at Borno Express's terminus in Maiduguri, Governor Zulum said the second phase of the intervention is to alleviate the suffering of commuters occasioned by the removal of fuel subsidy. He said 30 out of the 70 buses will be dedicated to conveying civil servants to their places of work from 7 to 9 a.m. and return them from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. on Mondays to Friday. The new fleets of buses comprise of standard-sized buses and larger buses. A non-governmental organization, International Alert, and local partners in Zamfara State have disclosed that gender-based violence is alarming, saying violence against children is unacceptable. Speaking on Tuesday during a two-day training workshop for network members on conflict, gender sensitivity and advocacy held at Command Guest House in Gusau, Fatima Inusa, Gender Social Inclusive International Alert disclosed that as a result of the crisis and conflicts currently experienced, gender-based violence is on the alarming in the state. She disclosed that the workshop was in collaboration with local partners that comprise youth, women leaders, religious and community leaders, and people with disability in the state. During the workshop, over 30 participants were in attendance who were drawn across the state from women groups, youth, religious leaders, and local partners. Both Mrs. Lamy, chairperson, Women Christian Association Zamfara State, and Shafa'atu Labo from Voice of Women and Children Initiatives Zamfara State expressed their delights over the collaboration workshop in the state. The Bauchi State Police Command has arrested suspected ritualist Ibrahim Omar of 40 years for killing 2 people for rituals in Taranka village of Gamawa local government area of the state. This is contained in a statement issued by the spokesman of the command, SP Ahmed Wake, made available to newsmen on Tuesday in Bauchi. The spokesman said the suspects confessed to have killed and buried the 2 casual workers in a shallow grave around the outskirts of the town. At interrogation, the requisite coroner's form was filled and the bodies were exhumed from the said grave for discreet investigation. He said the command has handed over the corpse to the relatives for burial according to their respective religious rites. He added that investigation further uncovered the accused killed the 2 persons in a bid to make ritual money out of their dead bodies. The Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps River State Command has arrested 10 suspects for alleged involvement in pipeline vandalism, crude oil theft, and illegal dealings in petroleum products. The command also impounded 9 vehicles laden with illegally refined petroleum products concealed in cellophane bags and seized 28,225 liters of illegally refined AGO, popularly known as diesel. The 10 suspects include a second-time offender, Chinidu Michael, who was granted bail 2 months ago after he was arrested for illegal refining of petroleum products by the cops. Parading the suspects at the command headquarters in Port Harcourt, the River State Capital State Commandant Basil Igwe-Buze noted that the suspects were apprehended in various locations across the state by the anti-vandal unit in collaboration with the 6th Division Nigeria Army. Commandant Igwe-Buze said the suspects would be charged to court while the products and vehicles will be forfeited and proceeds remitted to the federal government. And in business news, Nigerian importers who have plans of importing their goods through Cotonou ports in Benin Republic will be free to do so legally henceforth. The decision to set up a clearing point for Nigeria-bound goods was one of the highlights of the 2-day working visit of the Director General of Customs Service of Benin Republic, Mr. Alain Kinkati, as contained in a communique issued at the end of the meeting in Abuja on Tuesday. The Acting Comptroller General of the Nigeria Customs Service, Mr. Adewale Adeniyi, explained that details of the framework are being worked out. Under the arrangements, Nigeria-bound goods would be assessed and appropriate duties paid in the originating country, with such duties credited to the Nigerian government through the Nigerian Customs Service. Mr. Adeniyi described the framework as a great progress in the sub-regional integration and trade facilitation efforts in collaboration with their counterparts from neighboring Benin Republic. And an international scene,
Audio Jungle.
The president of the ECOWAS Commission, Dr. Umar Aliyu Toure, has approved the deployment of 15 long-term election observers to monitor key stages in the electoral process leading up to Liberia's general elections on 10 October 2023. The deployment is consistent with provisions of Articles 12 to 14 of the 2001 ECOWAS Supplementary Protocol and Democracy and Good Governance on assistance to member states holding elections. The long-term observation mission, headed by Mr. Serigny Mamadou K.A. AG, head of the State Electoral Assistance Division, comprises experts in election administration, gender and civil society, constitutional law, security, and the media. The long-term observation mission will be in the country until 15 October 2023 to observe the electoral processes and also serve as an early warning mechanism for preventive diplomacy. And on sports updates, the Nigeria Football Federation has begun contract renewal talks with American coach Randy Waldrum, who led the former African champions to a round of 16 finish at the 2023 Women's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand last month. Reports gathered that Waldrum had been sacked after the Nigeria Football Federation held its executive committee meeting in Uyo on Sunday. An aide to the NFF president, who spoke on condition of anonymity, told newsmen that the Federation officials were happy with the American gaffer's performance at the World Cup and thus urged its technical committee to immediately reach out to Waldrum for the renewal of a new deal, a one-year contract. However, Waldrum declined comments on the contract renewal on Tuesday, but it now appears both parties are about to shed their swords, with the Federation set to announce the coach's new one-year deal in the coming days. And that's all we have for today's package, but before we go, let's take a recap of the major headlines. Labour threatens indefinite strike, gives one-week ultimatum over fuel price hike. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu approved 50 billion naira to assist 5 Northwest states to develop infrastructure. Bauchi states to host Northeast 2024 trade fair. And in business news, Nigerian importers to start clearing goods from Cotonou ports. And in international scene, ECOWAS deploys 15 long-term election observers in Liberia. And in sports news, Nigeria Football Federation to hand Waldrum New Falcons one-year deal. On behalf of the production team, head of news and current affairs, I still remain Yohane Ibrahim. So do have a nice day. Keep watching Standard Voice Television.